Hi, my name is David Curry. I graduated from LCS in 2014, and now I have the pleasure to be back here as primarily a development director and finance manager, but many of you probably know me as math teacher or girls basketball coach or whatever you might see me do.
So, when would you say your Christian walk really began?
I would say my walk began when I was about 6 or 7 years old. My mom, she's the one that tells me really the story about my testimony. I was really young, so I don't remember all the details, but just recently we asked her about it, and I was about 6 or 7 years old. When I was younger, I had been to church. The Lord really used my mom. She was a new believer at the time, and one of the things that she was told as a new believer, and she's really held to even to this day, is that she needs to go to church and then also bring her son to church as well too. I'm an only child, and my parents were separated at the time when I was about 6 or 7. So we had been going to church for quite a while. I was a pretty good kid growing up. I was pretty smart, so I kind of understood everything that's going on. I understood that Jesus died on the cross for my sins. But then one morning, my mom was telling me this the other day. She said that I had a really bad nightmare where there was just darkness all around me. I guess it came from lessons we had learned at Sunday school, at church, and I knew that sin was this darkness that was enveloped around me, and especially as a little kid, that frightened me. I didn't want to be in the darkness anymore. I wanted to be in the light. I think everyone wants to be in the light as well too. And so then I talked to my mom about it. I said, "Mom, I just had this terrible nightmare. I don't want to be in the darkness anymore. I want to be in the light." And then remember hearing that Jesus is the light. So I want to be with Jesus. I want to be with the light. And so she walked me through the whole process of wrapping, I guess, how good a 6 or 7 year old can wrap their mind around it at the time, but wrapping in mind what it means to be out of the darkness and to believe in Jesus, to have him as our light. Because there's nothing that I can do. It was very evident to me, even though I was a good kid, but I wasn't perfect. I knew I was a sinner. It's evident to me that looking at the world around me, this wasn't a perfect world, and that I was equally just as part of this imperfect world, that I was part of the sin as well that goes along with it. And so that was really the moment. My mom, hand in hand with me, walking me through the whole process of what it meant to be a believer. And then since then, I would say I became baptized shortly after that. Since then, I've been a believer.
So, how has being a Christian affected your day-to-day life and your overall mentality?
My life has really changed tremendously. I've seen God work in my life and those around me in incredible ways. One of the things that I've struggled with from since I've become a believer until now is with my pride. And I've seen that with my dad. He's not a believer. And so understanding that I can't save him. It's not up to me. There's no words that I can say. There's nothing I can do to save him. I can just be a light, and I can be a testimony. When I have opportunities to share the gospel with him, I do it, but I want to keep a relationship with him as well too. And so I've struggled with the whole notion that I need to act better around him. I need to say better words to him. If only I was just a little bit better, that I could do something to save him. So I've really struggled against my pride with this, understanding that God is in control, that he has a perfect plan over his life, over mine, and over all of those people around me as well too. And so I've really struggled with my pride. And another thing that I've seen, especially over the last year and a half, I've had quite a crazy turn of events here. So much has happened for me in the last year and a half. There have been a lot of highs and a lot of lows as well too. And so once again, with my pride, understanding that even though there are good things and bad things happening around me, that God is in control. There's nothing I can do to pull myself out of some situations, coming to a total helplessness where there's nothing I can do. I just have to trust in him. When there's nowhere to turn, I've really been in situations where you just have to trust in God, understand that he has a perfect plan for me, for my life, for my parents' lives. I've experienced a lot of really good things over this time, over this season. I've got to see God's hands at work in my life and those around me. So I'm just excited for what God has done, and he continues to work in me, work against my pride, make me more humble, and trust in him over everything instead of myself, because trusting myself does not get me very far. And I've just experienced God's goodness over this time.